So today in this tank here, I'm going to be creating a tank for a fish that was believed to be extinct in the wild for a long time. So these are white cloud mountain minnows. And as said, they're thought to be extinct in the wild and have been for a long time, and a protected species as well. They are actually very, very popular in the hobby. They are easy to breed. I've bred them myself before. And as such, the hobby has kept them going and are pretty much available everywhere. Now, usually when you first see them in the shop, they're quite small, but they get to a decent size. Think like cardinal tetra size, and the females can get even bigger actually. Really rounded bellies on them. And if you've got a planted tank or lots of hiding spaces, you can easily get babies to survive as well. They do predate on their own young, but like I say, if you've got the hiding spaces, you don't actually have to do anything and they breed themselves. They are egg scatterers, so you can capture the eggs and move them to different tanks. It's not really something I'm into. I just like to see which ones will survive. And I'm pretty sure in the tank we're going to build, we'll get some babies. Now, when we say cold water fish, it doesn't mean that the water has to be cold. What it means is the fish can tolerate a really cold temperature. So white clouds, for instance, can go down to like 2 degrees centigrade and be perfectly fine. But the ideal temperature is around room temperature. So cold water fish for me means no heater in the tank, because most people's houses are going to sit at a really suitable range for most fish that you can buy in the hobby. I suppose the technical term for this is temperate fish, but temperate sounds a bit lame. No one really knows what it means. I think they should just call it room temperature fish, really. So the tank I'm going to be using is this shallow tank here, which measures, actually I don't know. We've got 80 centimeters this way, 30 centimeters in depth, and 24 centimeters high. So in terms of water volume, it's a really good size for some white cloud mountain minnows. And the lighting for the tank is the Lamini F20. Nice little spotlights. I'll leave a link in the description if you're interested. So the dimensions of the tank are going to lend themselves really well to the white cloud mountain minnows, because they're like a shallow stream, faster sort of flowing fish. So the volume's good, size is good, they can swim left and right. They haven't got height, but they're not going to worry about that at all anyway, and it means we can get a little bit artistic in the top section. So I'm going to go for some nice big rocky outcrops. I've got some big pieces of rock here that'll work really well. Not entirely sure yet on the composition. Maybe I'll go for like a smaller island and a big overhanging one as well. Let's give that a go. So that is a good shape, I think, for each island, and then I can sort of link the two. But I do want to have some little bit of greenery cropping out of it, and for that I do need a substrate system. So the substrate is made up of a mixture of gravel, we've got a bit of aqua soil in there, aquarium compost, we've got some denolase substrate. It's kind of a mixture of everything, and it goes down really well as a base layer. And then on top of that, I've got some more fine nutrients that I've saved from another tank. This one's basically fine aqua soil and sand, and that's just gonna help cap it all down. And then the final layer is just a clean, inert pool filter sand. This looks way nicer than the stuff that's underneath. Gives a sort of uniform look, a great base for our rocks, and also locks down all the nutrients as well, so they're not floating in the water column. There we go, substrate system complete. That's all capped. I will be adding some more decorative looking sort of stones and gravel and things later on, but that is the basic constituents of what's going to give the plants the nutrients at the roots. And that means we can now get on with the hardscaping, and whilst I was doing that, I kind of got an idea exactly of what I want to do. I'm just going to crack on and do it. Now, it's very hard to explain the thought process in how I'm doing this. I'm literally just going by feel, and the only way you can get that feel is just by sticking the rocks in, taking a step back, having a look, having an adjustment if it's needed, and moving it again. But you can't really get going until you get going. Do you know what I mean? Get those rocks in there, start piling them up, and just move it as it evolves. And there's no real right way of doing it. It's just whatever you like. So that's the basic shape, and looking at some of the footage I've seen, there's also a lot of trapped pieces of like debris that's fallen down. I'm talking like twigs, sticks, logs even, but I can't really put a log in here, but I can kind of get it to that scale. Just sort of laid over the edge and sprawling over it all. Now we need the right piece for this job, and I don't think any one piece is going to be good enough, but there's lots of different smaller ones that's going to work with the scaling. So this selection here looks quite good actually. So the wood already looks cool, but if you look, it's so parallel, it looks a little bit unnatural. I do want to get a direction of flow going because the water's going to come from this end. So we're sort of interpreting that the river's flowing from right to left. But that just looks a bit odd. So that looks kind of cool. Definitely like some wood has flown down and got lodged, but I want one big sort of chunky piece going in the opposite direction. It's not going to be very scapey. It might look a bit odd, but sometimes in the rivers, going by the picture that we saw at the start as well, it can look odd sometimes, but still look authentic. Thinking something like this, just coming down here, tucked underneath. See what I mean? It doesn't really follow like composition laws, I don't think anyway, but I like it. It just looks like it's got stuck in there from some previous storm or something. I've actually got an even bigger piece here. Maybe I'll try that. Might not work, but you can give things a go. That one might be a bit too big. It looks cool, but it's kind of taking away everything else. Maybe if I can tuck it behind a little bit more. There we go, I managed to tuck it behind a little bit, and now it's not like overshadowing or taking away from the rocks at all. You've still got full detail of the rocks. You've got some little crevices and everything for planting as well. Just adds a little bit more sort of pizzazz to it all. There we go, I just felt like the middle section was missing something, so I added in this sort of little curly piece, and it just makes it look like the wood is proper intertwined with all the rock now. I mean, you can keep going with this forever, but once you get to a point you kind of like, you should just move on to the next stage. You can always readjust as you go along as well, but I'm quite happy with that. It's a really good amount of detail, and it does look like a section where a load of sticks have just got caught up in the wash of the river. Now, all of this wood is going to float, so I need to glue it all to the rocks and to itself, and that should lock it down. I've got some super glue gel here. I've just ordered some more because it's mostly just empty packs, but I don't need a huge amount, so there's a little bit left in each one. Then I've got a little hardener that makes it go hard straight away, so I can just crack on with the build. If you don't have the hardener, it's okay, just give it 24 hours or so, but I'm patient. There we go, everything's locked down. Look, tap test, tap it all. Nothing's moving, so that is good. I'm confident that none of that is now going to float. One thing I do want to do though is pull the sand away from the edge, because I want the finished layer, you know, the decorative gravelly sand, to be the thing that shows and not this stuff. So I'm capping the whole tank with this coarser sand or fine gravel. I think this is a much more sort of realistic rivery look, but it's also going to act as a really good anchor for the plants. I needed a little bit more depth on top of the initial capping sand, and this should hold down the few plants that we're going to be planting and just lock them down into place, meaning that the roots can have a really good chance to grow into that substrate system. So that looks really, really great, but it's a little bit uniform. Like, rivers aren't that uniform, are they? So we need to put some detail stones around it all, and I've got the Rio Shingu for that. And this is a great stone because it just adds so much variety. Look at this. Now, river stones seem to sort of sit more flat, so I'm just pressing it into the areas as well. But it's just the different colours and sizes really do just bring the whole tank to life, it will. I want quite a bit of it because I want it to be the main thing that you're seeing. And that's how much of a difference getting a really nice detail stone can make. I mean, that looks like a river bottom right now, or a stream. It's more of a stream I'm going for. And the good news is, my plants have just arrived from denaleplants.co.uk. We got a good amount. Not that I need this many for this particular project, but I've got a lot anyway. I've got some little booses. I think they'll look great as details. I got some long pots of hair grass here. I just think they're going to look great sprouting through. I've got some nice pots of Hydrocotyle tripetita. Got some Anubias mini coin as well. Then I've got a load of different mosses to stick on. I've got Christmas moss, I've got Riccia Folutions, which isn't a moss but behaves like one. And yeah, it's all just gonna add a touch and a little pop of colour in certain areas, but not too much. Oh yeah, I've got some Trident Fern as well, that'll be good. So I'm gonna start with the hair grass. It's quite easy to prepare. just in the rock wall, break it out, or you can even just pull it out gently, but this is really well rooted, this one, so you can break it out like that, look, unfurl it. There we go, you can see where all the different shoots are. Some bits are going to come off, but that's kind of unavoidable. Just remove it as carefully as you can. Try not to break up those root systems, because I've found that they always seem to work better in a low-tech tank without CO2 if you can keep them together as much as possible. So, like, that's all one root system. Got a nice clump there as well. That's pretty much all together, that one. So I'll keep those pieces all together. And I really want a nice sprouty section in this area. Oh, that gravel's holding it down nicely. I'm gonna need to get some water on this pretty quick because it's so warm in here, it's drying out quite fast. So the only plant that's going to be actually planted into the substrate is going to be this dwarf hairgrass. And the reason I went for it is just because it gives a really sort of rough, natural feel. It kind of doesn't look neat. It goes in the flow really nicely as well when it's filled up with water. And you don't actually need to use a lot of it, especially this higher kind. Sometimes you can get a mini version of it that's even smaller, but even that can grow tall. It's just starts off a lot smaller. But this stuff just looks so sort of grown in already, right from the moment you put it into the tank. The rest of the planting is going to be epiphytes, which stick to the hardscape. And also I'm thinking about putting some plants coming out the top as well. I'm not quite sure what yet though. Then we've got our little dotties of Anubias that I've just about got enough glue left for. Little dollop there. Attach it to that, hold it down for 10 seconds or so. I like to leave all the roots because I just think it looks real nice and natural. There we go. Nice. Make a nice bit of boost in this middle section. I am seriously nearly out of glue. Got some more coming tomorrow, so should be all right for this. Right there, hold it down. Slightly overlapping the wood, so it looks like it's sort of grown over it nice and naturally. That should stay. Another little boost on this spot. Oh, it looks so good. Then just in this upper area, I'm going to put a few little dots of Java Fern Trident. Only subtle, just in the crack, so it doesn't need to be glued. Don't want to go over the top of it, because it's supposed to be subtle planting on this one. These are really starting to dry out. I need some water on them fast. There we go. Java Ferns are pretty good. They can go dry for a little while before anything bad happens. They're fine. I'm gonna put a whole pot of Hydrocotyle tripetita in this little crevice here. And what will happen with that is it will sort of grow out everywhere and trail, and that'll look really nice as it grows in. And then just another Java Fern in this section as well. Again, push down quite deep, just so there's a little sprout of colour coming up a little higher. Okay, that's enough for now. I do want to stick some other little details on, but I've run out of glue. So I'm going to fill this whole thing up with water and get a filter fitted. So it's now the next day. The tank has got very, very murky. I ran out of time yesterday to get a filter fitted at the end of the day, and it would have gone murky anyway, but I wanted to show you this because it could happen to you. So this is very, very common. And it'll probably happen to you. Like I say, even if the filter's fitted, it's gonna go a little bit murky. That's because some of the wood that I've got in there hasn't been used before. So it's just leaching tannins and like bacteria and everything into the water. Probably not bacteria, I don't know why I said that. But anyway, it's murky. What can we do about it? Well, we can fit a filter and just see if it clears up, which it probably won't because all that stuff on the wood's come out. It's easy just to whip the water down and bring it back up again in a tank this size and then fit the filter. There we go, looking miles better. There's a little bit of a misting still to it, but we can sort that out very quickly. I've got this little internal filter here that I'm going to use, and I saved a little gap for it, look, in this back corner, so it's a little bit hidden, but we'll still get really good flow. And yes, it's not a big filter, but most of the biological filtration is going to happen in the tank and in that substrate system that we created as well. Most of the beneficial bacteria is going to be on surfaces in the tank, so we've got so much in there already. And then this is just basically to push some water around and a little bit of polishing with the mechanical filtration as well, like you can see in there. I've got some sponges, and then the top section I've got a bit of a finer sponge as well, so just really polish it up. There we go, that's going to clear that water pretty quickly, but to speed it along, I'm going to add some AquaClear as well, bind all the particles together, and then the filter sponge can pick it all up. It's been half an hour and it's already completely clear. Now, I think it would be criminal in a tank like this not to have something coming out of the top, plant-wise. And this here is Timmy's tank. Say hello, Timmy. Hello. And as you can see, growing at the top is an absolute ton of plants, to the point now where it's so compact. And I reckon I could take some of these peace lilies out. They will be rooted right down into the back section. But that's okay. I just take them out and give them a trim and put them in that section just behind the wood in the new tank. There we go. I just pulled this nice big plant out of that middle section there. Look, so it's cleared it out a bit more light in that getting in there now. And that section will fill itself in with more plants. So I'll just leave it as it is. And some of the plants, look, have got a little bit of burn from the light. But that's all right. Bit of realism, isn't it? And the good thing is we've got this natural little recess behind this wood here, and tuck all the roots in, push them down behind. We've got an instant natural planted look to the top part of the tank. I think that looks awesome. And to even it up, I can even try and put one in this section as well. Oh yes. Oh, awesome. Yeah, look at that, that looks great. If anyone's wondering how I got the peace lilies to be converted to water, all you do is just take them out of the pot when you buy them, wash off all the soil, don't trim the roots. Well, don't trim them if you can help it, and if you need to make space, trim some. But if you put them in the water, they can go right under as well. The stalks and everything can go right under, and they literally just convert and do so well. I've got it dotted all around the studio. It's just a method that's worked for a long time. And then one more thing I think we should add that will probably give the white clouds a bit more of a chance to breed as well is some floating plants. And my little buddy in this tank, hello mate, his whole surface has been overrun with mini water lettuce, it's called. So I'll take some of those out and put them in the tank because they've got really nice roots that come down, real natural look. Here we go, look, just a couple of the little ones. They multiply very fast, so it's not like we need a lot. Nice little back section there will look good. They'll just go where they want as well and get caught up. Flow will make them naturally sit in like little corner pockets and that. So I'm really happy with how the tank is looking, and I think it's simulating a stream really well. But what is a glass box full of water if it hasn't got any fish in it? I think we're ready. We can go get the fish now. And then once we put them in, I can show you guys how to cycle the tank whilst the fish are in it safely. Every week?
Every week.
Oh, it's good weather.
That's lovely, isn't it?
Oh, I should probably point out, shouldn't I? Stefan hasn't left. He's working on another project at the moment that's coming soon. Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I'm alive. I haven't started my own YouTube channel.
That's when you know you're in the country, innit? And all right there, my lover.
On the road again.
I can't wait to get on the road. I've got country music on as well.
Yeehaw! Hello, summer!
Pub?
It's hot, isn't it?
By the time we're done here, it will be pub time.
We've timed it perfectly this time.
Yeah. Ooh. Right, we're back at the shop again. And Cheryl, you told me last week that you had all the white clouds and everything available. So we've got a nice group here. You've actually got more in, haven't you?
I have got more in last night, the golds, but they won't be ready till next week, unfortunately.
Yeah, we're
going to quarantine them.
Basically, the golds came in last night, and to move a fish that's already been moved very quickly, like the stress alone can kill them. Yeah. So that's why sometimes you'll see in shops if it says not available till that time. It's usually because of that, isn't it? But these white clouds,
But
which
them
are the
ones are fine.
exact, these are the exact ones that I want.
And they're a bit bigger.
They are a bit
which is
bigger.
great.
Which means that they show their coloration a bit more.
Yes.
Everything's a bit muted because there's treatment in all the waters, which is standard procedure for new arrivals, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Every time you come in, there's treatment.
Yeah, there is, isn't there?
Regular deliveries.
Yeah, definitely want some of them. And I was
Yep.
thinking as well to have a little group of cherry shrimp in with them because the
Yeah, that'd be fine.
tank is like quite sort of grey. It's not very much
Colour.
colourful, so the red of the cherries
contrast.
will stand out great.
Lovely.
I've got lots of plants, but like there's lots of areas where they'll stand out. So I think that'd be good. Like as a little clean-up crew.
Yeah, they look
with
nice
these
for them.
as well. Yeah, cool.
Bag them up.
Yeah, back them up. I don't know how many. Let me think. So I've got an 80 centimetre tank. It's a shallow one. I think a group of like 15 or so will be really nice. And yeah,
that.
males and females, and we can get some breeding and everything, and that'd be cool.
Let's do it.
Yeah, just on the way out, and I was looking at this one. I feel like this will work really well. It's like a marginal plant next to the peace lilies. I think I'm going to get it. I've never tried this before with this plant. It might work, it might not, but it's going to look cool anyway.
Hey, that's a strong look. Flip there.
So I'm back at the studio. All the fish are acclimating and the shrimp as well. Now, before I put them in, and they're not going in this tank, all the water temperatures are matching in every single tank in the studio because I heat the studio. I'm sure many of you have heard me say that before. Before I put them in, I just want to try out this plant that I've got. Now, obviously, I can't just chuck it in like that, can I? Because we've got all of that soil that's all on the roots. So I'm just going to break off the soil, then wash it all off, and we should be left with just the plant and the root tips. The name of this plant is Cyperus zumula. Now, I've actually done this many times before with different plants, but never this particular plant. Pretty much every time I've tried to do this with a plant, it has worked. Very rare occasion I've found that a plant hasn't, so I'm holding out high hopes for it. Now what I'm trying to do here is make sure that I'm getting off as much soil as possible, but keeping the roots intact, so not breaking them off and shortening them, because I've found that every time I do this with whatever plant, the more roots you can keep, the better the chance of survival of all of this growth on the top area. What tends to happen if I just cut the roots off here and clean off the ends, is it all sort of wilts out because it can't take up enough moisture. So just taking a little bit of time with it, and then what I'll do is I'll go outside and hose the rest off. There we go, look, we've got some really nice clean roots there. Some of them look dirty, they're not, they're just a different colour. But it's a nice big section on that plant, and it should be absolutely fine. Fingers crossed anyway. So I've broken the plant in two, just so we've got a couple of areas for the shoots, and then I'm just going to take this foam just to hold it together a little bit more and make sure that it can like go into a spot and stay there, and just sort of grip the base part of it like that. And now I can slot it in. So I'm going to go for one in this back section here. Find the gap. There we go. A bit more texture on that side. And then one down on this side, and then one in with this plant as well. There we go, just a bit of an experiment, see if they work. I mean, they should work. Every other time I've done this, it has, so yeah, high hopes for that. Right, we can now get some fish in. So I'm gonna put the shrimp in first, just so that they can get settled before we put in all of the white cloud mountain minnows. The reason I picked these is because they're gonna stand out massively on the rocks if they want to come out, that is. Come on. Come on. They don't want to get off the net. We go lift it out. There we go. Good number. And now for the white clouds. They're going to love this. Oh, good number there. One more. Nice. Now, it looks like extra lot at the moment because they're all in one space, but they're going to go sort of everywhere. A little bit decoloured at the moment because obviously they've been in the bag and then sat underneath the, sat in the other aquarium with the light off. They'll colour up nice and quickly because they're not like crazy young ones. So they've already got some decent colour to them already. Okay, now some important information. If you've never done a tank before, you've watched this video and thought, I want to do that. You notice that I've put the fish in the same day. I am very experienced in doing this. And if you are going to put fish in the same day, just get a few. Start off with like 5 in a tank this size, I'd say. If you've got a small little tank like this, then you shouldn't be putting fish in it anyway. But yeah, I'm very experienced now, and I can tell, first of all, if there's any issues going on with the fish's behavior straight away. But also, I'm gonna be testing this water daily to make sure that there's no rise in nitrite or ammonia. Any rise in that at all, the water comes down and fresh goes back in again, dechlorinated obviously. But also what I'll add in now is some beneficial bacteria to start seeding everything. And then as the fish produce waste, the bacteria levels gain and gain and gain. There's a bit of a balancing act, and you do need a bit of experience to do it like with this amount of fish. I've got no issue with it. It'll be absolutely fine for me. But I worry that if you're new to the hobby, then you won't really know any signs that there's any issue with the fish until it's too late. So start with a low number and then build it. The next week, go get a few more until you've got the desired amount you want. It's far safer for you and the fish. Well, it's not unsafe for you. It's just not very nice, is it, to see fish dying and you don't really know why. And the last thing I want is you guys trying something and going, oh, I can't do it. It's too complicated or whatever, because that's going to put you off for life. But if you have a go at this with a few fish, you get a win. You're probably going to get more aquariums as well. So yeah, first thing that goes in is some beneficial bacteria. I'm using Quick Start. For this size tank, I need a good 4 of these capfuls. And then get yourself a test kit, either strips or the liquid type ones, which are more expensive but are more accurate. But if you can only afford the strips, definitely do get them. These guys are all staying back there at the moment. They'll settle in shortly. But yeah, test it every day for the first week. That's what I'll be doing. And like I say, if I see any rises, you just take that water down and bring it back up again. Now the plants actually feed off of ammonia. So with all these plants coming out of the surface, they're gonna be sucking up nutrients. They'll use the ammonia. Plus we've got all the different plants inside as well, but they're not sort of bedded in yet. Having said that, with the water volume and, you know, they're not big fish, I'm not expecting to see much of a rise at all. If anything, I'll probably do a water change tomorrow anyway, just to be sure, even if I don't see anything, just because it's good practice really in a new tank. But like I say, if you are new to this, do not start with this number of fish. You're just asking for trouble. There is one more critter though that I would like to add to the tank, and that is a little collection of ram's horn snails. Snails get a bad rep in the planted aquarium hobby, but I absolutely love them and I use them in all my tanks. They're really good for munching on any waste the fish produce, you know, any stagnant areas that collect. They will go and munch on everything, stir it all up a bit. I just think they're a really good addition, and they're quite interesting as well. So sexing the white clouds is actually quite easy once they get a little bit bigger. The males are a lot more colourful and streamlined. The females kind of have a small sort of balloon look to them and are a lot larger as well. So these ones that I've got at the moment, probably about 3/4 of the way grown, maybe closer to half, but I can already spot some potential male and females in there already, and I'm pretty sure there's enough hiding spaces in this whole setup to ensure the survival of some babies. The way it works is any smart babies will stay undercover until they're of a decent size and can swim fast, and any of the ones that are just a bit lower on the evolutionary scale, shall we say, they'll come out in the open and get gobbled. But what I tend to do, and what I've done before, is if I see any babies, I'll scoop them out and just put them in a tank of their own and just bring them up that way. I tend to do that with most babies that I see. It doesn't really matter what the species is. If there's a tank full of fish, it's highly unlikely that you get survivors. The only exception to that seems to be with guppies, where you can have a bunch of adults and small babies and they're everywhere. But most fish, if another fish can fit inside its mouth, will eat it. Now don't get me wrong, there are exceptions to the rule. I've had a tank before with loads of fully grown Colombian tetras, and there was the odd baby dotted about that got to a size where it was absolutely happy, growing and doing well. So, you know, it can happen, it's just quite rare. So yeah, this has been a really fun project. I think it's turned out great. It's got that raw, natural vibe to it. The fish seem to be behaving really well in the flow as well. And I think I've really managed to create that natural look. The good thing about a natural look is that it is quite cost effective. You don't need a huge amount of plants. In fact, you could probably use even less than I've got here. The fish certainly wouldn't mind. I just thought I wanted a little bit more of a visual spectacle, but you could do it with half the plants if I'm honest, and it's still gonna look good. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this one, and I'll see you guys on the next one.